Okay, today what I want to talk about in Photoshop is how to create a custom brush that's a lens flare. And I use this all of the time. Of course, we have a picture here of a young lady taking a picture of herself in a mirror. As you can see, the word Canon is reversed there. We could, of course, go to Filter, Render, and just do a lens flare on the image. Place it there over the top of that flash and click OK. And then the control that we have over what that lens flare is doing is now out of our hands. So let's undo that and let me show you how to create a brush. Let's create a new layer above this layer and hit Shift Delete. We're going to fill that layer with 100% black. And with that selected, let's now go back to Filter, Render, and Lens Flare. And you can flip through the different lens flares. You can see they give you like 4 different selections here. But the one that I want to use for this flash is actually this one, because I like the lines that it gives. And you can see as you move this around, it sort of changes where those lines appear and how they react. But we're going to put it pretty close to the center, and then we're going to click OK. And now we have our lens flare. As you can see, my lines are extending all the way to the edge of the document, and that might look unnatural. So the first thing that I want to do is select the gradient tool and making sure that I've selected black, the transparent. I'm going to get rid of those lines by just coming over here and drawing and just deleting the lines and making sure that none of those are extending all the way to the edge of the document. I can even clean up these down here at the bottom. Looks like that one maybe just a little bit more. And after we get that the way that we want it to and everything the way set that we need it to be, we can go ahead and create our lens brush. But for a lens brush to work, it's effectively a mask, so it needs to be black and white. So we need to get rid of all of the color information. So we're going to hit Shift Command U or Shift Alt U, I believe, or Control U for a PC user to desaturate it and take all of the color information out, so now that it's black and white. A phrase that you need to memorize is black reveals and white conceals. So if we made a lens brush now, what would reveal the brush would actually be all of this black area, and what would not show would be the white, and of course gray is just semi-transparent. So we need to flip those colors. So we'd go to Image, Adjustments, and Invert. And now it inverted all of the colors, and we can see that we have no lines extending to the edge of our document, so everything's fine. So let's go ahead and let's make a lens brush out of that by selecting Edit, Define Brush Preset, and we'll just call it Flare Camera, and select OK. Let's hide this layer and create a new layer above it. And now let's use our new brush by selecting the Brush tool. And as we go up here, that brush is going to be the very last one that was created, so we're going to go ahead and select it. By using the bracket keys, which are located next to your P, the one next to the P will make it smaller, and then the right bracket will make it larger. We're going to make this just a little bit larger than the flash that's currently on there. And then we're just going ahead and, well, first thing we need to see that if I did it now, we'd be creating a black flash. So let's hit X to make those colors reverse. And now I have white selected, so I'm going to make a white lens flare right there. And you can see the lines that are in that lens flare look very good. Now we have control over this because now we can go in and in the layers style selection we can add like an outer glow to this. And let's pick, say, give it sort of a blue, very light blue hint to it. Change that to screen to get rid of the blue that was right here in this area, and click OK. And now you can see if I toggle, that's without the effect, that's with the effect. So there's a variety of different things that we can do with our lens flare after we've created it as a brush. As a matter of fact, if you saw my logo at the beginning of this video, I used the same technique here, and then I made a smaller one over the L, and then even one over the R, and then one right over here by the Y and on the T, just by creating and using the bracket keys and making them smaller or bigger, just exactly what I'm needing to do, or exactly what I want to do. And since it's a brush, you can draw and do anything that you want to with it. So that's how you create a creative brush made out of a lens flare to use in Photoshop that's more flexible than a regular lens flare that you can find in the filter. Thank you. Until next time, this is Dave.